ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to segment 2 of the Stay at Home show. In this segment, I want to talk a little bit about the Decorah Eagles. So we have, let's see, and I learned how to do a thing. So now, whoop, too close. I can put I figured out how to put a thing there. And it wasn't actually that difficult. I don't deserve applause or anything, but I'm impressed because I didn't know how to do this thing before. So now I have a thing, the Decorah Eagles. Let's talk about the Decorah Eagles. Those of you who have been in my class before know that I am obsessed with these eagles. They're quite beautiful. Here she is sitting on her nest right now, and she is, as many of you may know, she is sitting upon right now, March 25th, 2020, she is sitting upon 3 eggs. And those 3 eggs are due to hatch anytime in the next week, probably. Or at least the first one will hatch probably within the next week. And yeah, it's a wonderful thing to watch. This is Mama sitting on the nest right now. And I want to show you guys the people who made this happen. As you can see down in the bottom right corner, Raptor Resource Project and Explore.org. I'm not sure what kind of organization Explore.org is. They might be just a nature streaming site, I'm not sure. But the Raptor Resource Project is here. So we're going to take a look through some of the things that we can see here on their site. And we're going to take a look at information about the eagles and some quick facts. The first thing I should say is I have for a long time been pronouncing this website, I've been pronouncing the name of this region incorrectly. For a very long time I have been saying the Decorah Eagles, and the correct pronunciation for their region is the Decorah region. So these are the Decorah bald eagles. Let's go back to it here. So the Decorah bald eagles and the Raptor Resource Project. We're already home. Let's see if we can first find about us so that we can see blog, our programs, contact us, history timeline. That's what I want to see because I just like to see who this group is. Robert Anderson Memorial Scholarship Fund. So Robert Anderson is the person who either arranged this first or who it was named for. Memorial means that it is to remember him, so probably just who it was named for. And the Scholarship Fund, money for people who are going to study. Let's see what we've got in the history timeline. Just waiting for it to load here. Here we go. Founded in, or begun in 1998 to breed and release peregrine falcons. That's a very common falcon here and famously the fastest animal, I think, possibly ever, but I'm not sure if we know that. Probably not. As part of a nationwide effort to return the highly endangered species. So this is some history of Bob Anderson. Where do we get into the Raptor Resource Project? Well, that's the peregrine falcons, but where do we get into the crossover with eagles? Well, drone-based camera system to watch bald eagles at Excel Energy's Fort Saint-Vrain plant. I probably didn't pronounce Vrain right. I don't know how they pronounce it. And so people can watch all kinds of different ones now. So he began with I was incorrect. 1998, we launch our first bird cam, Maze Interest, at Allen South King Plant in Oak Park Heights, Minnesota. And it is very successful. So they began in 1988. That is what I wanted out of this. A forum where you can interact with other people who enjoy watching their various cams. Explore Eagle Maps, which I presume is where there's either sightings of eagles or showing the frequency of eagles in different areas. Nesting calendar, so when do they lay? A field guide to birds around our nests, so this would be a guide to recognizing various birds. Hunt and fish lead free. Lead, of course, very dangerous, so this is probably a promo. Looking at a little too much detail here. Donate. Classroom. Oh, interesting. And lesson plans too. Well, we may be taking a look at that in the future. Tech tips, probably about cameras, because these guys operate a wireless live web camera. And watch birds. The Decorah Eagle Cam right at the top. That is the one that we watch most frequently. Decorah North, I'm saying it wrong again. Decorah Eagle Cam, Decorah North, Peregrine Falcons, Flyway Cam, Kestrels, Kestrel. Oh, interesting. I don't know to describe what a kestrel is, but I know I have heard the name frequently. Wisconsin. Eagle Valley Bald Eagles, XL Energy Birds of Prey, which means a hunting bird, especially a raptor like an eagle or a hawk or an owl. Dairyland Power Falcons, Minnesota Power Falcons, Great River Energy Falcons, additional Falcon cams, and all cams. So there are lots of choices. But we are going to take a look at, we're going to go back home, and we're going to take, I lose our main. We'll just do this way. Okay, because I needed to click here and the Decorah Eagle Cam. So here we are. This is the 10th year of the Decorah Eagle Cam, and we're gonna skip down for a little bit of information. We have current information on the website about the eagles' conditions, the environment conditions where the eagles are living, I mean. And this is some information about where they are found, the kind of region that they are found in. But we want to look at some facts about the eagles, which, just making sure it's getting us where I want. Timeline go. News? Oh, not news. Maybe it is down here. Yes, it is. Okay, my bad. So about the Decorah Eagles, the first section tells us a little bit about the current season of the eagles and a little bit about their location and what's immediately around them. So there's a fish farm. I think this is a fish farm. Let's just double check that. Trout hatchery, yes. So there's a fish farm here, and I believe that this is a lake. It looks like we have seen lakes around. Here is a picture of Mom and DM2, and we'll get in a moment when we talk about the history, we'll get to why this one is named Mom and this one is named DM2, and why they aren't named something like Gregory and Bernadette. So first, how do we recognize them? This is pretty good. First off, females in general are larger than male eagles, maybe by about 25%. But of course, an older male will be possibly larger than a younger female, so it may help to know if they're about the same age. Then the larger one would be the female. So on these particular eagles, Mom has, I don't know if you can see this is a little bit small, Mom has darker head feathers, so you can see darker streaks inside her feathers. And DM2, which does not mean dad, we'll get to that, DM2 means, or has a snowy white head, so his feathers are consistently white. She has ruffled head feathers, aka bad hair, also known as bad hair. So she has just more thick hair over her head, or feathers over her head, whereas DM2, his feathers lay down much more. She has gray eyeshadow, which means the darker feathers that are in her head, there's many more of them under her eyes, around her eyes. And this shows up especially when she's wet. And he has black around his eyes, which is interesting. She has gray and much further out. Mom has a deeper brow. Her brow, and for humans we use this word too, the brow is the area kind of across your eyebrows. The bottom of your forehead and your forehead generally is your brow. So Mom has a taller head which comes down at a sharper angle, whereas DM2 has more of a race car kind of angle going on. And this is interesting, a commissural point, which means beak lips. So this is her beak, and her beak lips I think would be along here, and on DM2 along here. Beak lips are curved up a little more, so she has kind of a smile going on right here, and his just turns up a little bit, but not as much as Mom's does. And also DM2 has a brown spot or discoloration above his left eye, which this might be shadow on this picture, but I think it's talking about this dot right here, but I'm not sure. So let's look a little bit about the history. Let's just check in real quick. What's up, Mom? She's doing good. Okay, the history of the Decorah Eagles. Dad, Mom's original mate, disappeared in April of 2018. So this is a little bit out of order, but this tells us about the mating here. This is kind of starting with more recent. So Dad, Mom's original mate, disappeared in April of 2018. In 2007, which would have been when this webcam began operating, based on her plumage, which means her feathers, Mom was 4 years old. So that would make her, in 2018, that would make her 15 years old. And that would make her now 17 years old. If we go back up here, quick facts. If we go down here at quick facts, lifespan up to 40 years in the wild. So that means that, go back to this. That means that at 17, she could have another 23 seasons of laying in this nest. However, she hasn't always had this nest. So let's take a look here at the nest history, going backwards. Well, let's start from early. In 2002-ish, a male eagle named Dad and his original mate named Om. Isn't that interesting? Build a nest. Hold on. Yep. In the hills to the east of the hatchery. So that's in the area where this nest is. And the nest is called Nest Zero. So Nest Zero is destroyed during a storm. Dad and original mom, maybe that's what OM means, Dad and original mom begin building a new nest called Nest 1 in the yard of a home just north of the hatchery. Original mom disappears in early fall 2007. A 4-year-old female mom joins Dad at Nest 1 in early December. So the eagle could disappear for a number of reasons. It could have, depending on how old it was, it may have died of old age. It may have died while hunting. It may have been injured by some animal that it was trying to catch. Or it could have eaten poison that was left out to kill rats or foxes or something like this. It could have eaten the fish with a hook still stuck in it, for all I know. No idea. But she disappeared. So after she disappeared, the new female, 4 years old, based on its feathers and named Mom, joins Dad at Nest 1 in December. In 2012, Mom and Dad begin a new nest in mid-October in the north bank of Trout Creek, 700 feet from Nest 1, which is still standing. So that's interesting. They just chose to build a new nest. The nest was still fine, but they built a new nest anyway. Maybe because the mom really wanted her own nest. I don't know. In 2015, 3 years later, Nest 2 is destroyed during a storm, morning of July 18th. In August, here we go, 2015 is go time. Humans build a nest called Nest 2B, because it's Nest 2, but it's B, an extra one, to encourage the eagles to begin building near the former location of Nest 2. Mom and Dad adopt Nest 2B in October of 2015. I feel like they had already had the webcam going. I missed that information from up here. In 2018, Dad disappears in April of 2018. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I had been watching since at least like 2012, I think. Way before this. But I don't remember the nest changing, but I don't know if I would have recognized. He is last seen at Nest 2B on April 18th, and also it's unknown what happened to Dad. And after 2 male eagles come and go, Mom accepts a new mate, DM2, for Decorah Male 2. So DM2 stands for Decorah Male 2, probably OM stand for Original Mom. And as to why they are named Mom and Dad, if I remember correctly, and this is kind of funny, a little bit ironic, if I remember correctly, they leaned away from naming them for actual names, because people would have too much of a feel of they are our pets. Either that we have some kind of ownership over them, or maybe that we would see them as pets in the sense that we don't expect our pets to have to face the horror of nature, and sometimes terrible things can happen at the eagle's nest. And so they did this, I think, to keep people from, they want people to feel, but they didn't want people to connect in an unhealthy way. in an unrealistic way. And so they did not want to anthropomorphize or make them into humanized pets or children or something that we want to take care of. But in naming them Mom and Dad, well, now that it's on to DM2, but still, one of them named Mom seems to me pretty easy to develop a connection that way. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is it for segment 2. Thank you very much for joining me. If you would like to look at the eagles yourself, and please do, the eggs will be hatching anytime in the next couple of days. If you would like to watch the eagles yourself, please do. The links are down in the description. And join me in 20 minutes for segment 3, when I will be talking about some stories by Ted Chiang. Get us in the screen here. Stories by Ted Chiang in his collection Exhalation. Thank you very much for joining me, and I hope to see you again in the next segment.